Hello everyone, this is TechZent and let's continue with this Python tutorial. We covered lately 2 videos about operators in Python, link will be in the description. But today we will learn how to get input from a user. Because any app you have on your phone or on your PC consists about getting data from you. And how? By asking for input. Well, that's what we'll be doing today in Python. So before we get input from a user, we need to store this input somewhere. Well, I'm gonna store it inside a variable called x, and I'm gonna ask for the input by using the input function. Then I'm gonna say to the user what to do. So I want him to enter a number, and then I'm gonna print x. As you can see, I have a prompt down there, and I'll be able to enter a number. Let's say 5, and I print my number, which is 5. Let's say I want the user to give me another number. Well, I could declare another variable, write input, and enter another number. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add those two numbers. So print x plus y. So it says enter a number, I'm gonna say 5, enter another number, I'm gonna say 6. We should get 11. But we got 56. Why exactly? So the problem here is that whenever you work with the input function, it always gives you the string type. That means it converts automatically your input to a string. And that explains why we got 56, because it concatenated two strings. But I want to add two numbers. I should get 11, right? Well, what I can do is I could typecast or convert my data to another type. I did a full video about this topic, so make sure to check it out. What I can do here is I could use the int function to convert my variable x to an integer and as y also. And let me run my program, enter a number, 5, 6, and we got 11. But instead of converting them here, I could automatically convert my input to an integer by using the int function here. And let me just add a parentheses here. And I could do the same thing for y. So I'm going to use the int function to convert it to an integer. I could right now take off those integers down here. And right now I'll be able to input an integer. So it says enter a number, I'm going to say 5, 6, and then I got 11. And if I say print type of x, we should get an integer. So let me input a number 5. As you can see, it says class int. But let's say I took off this integer function, and what do you think we'll get for the type of x? Let me run my program, enter a number 5. As you can see, class str, because the input function automatically converts my input to a string. Do you think we can do the same thing for floating point numbers? Of course. So I could say float, and I'm converting my input to a float. And I could say here the same thing, so float, and let me run my program. Enter a number, let's say 1.5. As you can see, we got a class float. Enter another number, let's say 3.7. We got 5.2. Let's say I ask the user to input a character, like A, B, C, and so on. First, I need to use the input function, right? So I'm gonna write input, enter a character. If you don't know, in other programming languages, we could convert our input to a character by using the char function. But in Python, unfortunately, we don't have that. Enter a character, let's say A, I got A. But let's say by accident, the user pressed another character. So let me enter A, and unfortunately I pressed S by mistake. I got as or AS, but I only want the first letter or one character. How to do that? Well, we could use bracket notation and specify the index, which is index 0. I did a full tutorial about strings, so make sure to check them out. So if I run my program, enter a character, AS by mistake, and I got A. But let's say I want my variable x to store only one character. Right now, if I inputted another character, let's say A, S, and D, it will store A, S, and D, not only A. So what to do? Well, I could just delete this. So what it will do now is it will store only the first character of my string. So let's say I run my program and write AST, it gives me A. So inside my x variable, I only have A because I specified here that I only want the first character in a string. Now I still have another function that I want to show you here, and it's called the eval function. And what this does is, this function evaluates your input. Meaning, let's say I inputted 2 plus 3 divided by 2, let's say. It gives me the answer. Let me show you. X eval input, let's say enter an equation. Let me print X. So if I run my program, enter an equation, let's say 2 plus 3 divided by 2. What do you think I will get? I got a floating point number, 3.5. Now that we know a bit about the input function, let me give you a little exercise to do. So this is a really basic exercise where we will be getting the name of a user, his age, and his height. Then we will print these values in a form of a little story. First, let's declare a variable, call it name. And this name will store a string. So str input, what is your name? Is your name. Next, we want his age, right? So I'm gonna write age equal to, and his age should be an integer, right? And we use the int function to convert my input to an integer. So input, enter your age. Then we want his height. Let's say his height is 180.5. It's a floating point number, right? So I will say height equal to float input enter your height. So let's print it in form of a story. So I could say print user, your name is, and the plus operator to concatenate two strings, name, the name variable which stores the name of the user. Next, I want to print his age. So I'll say something like this. Name, you are age, the variable name age, years old. Next, I'm gonna print his height. So I'm gonna say print you are plus operator height centimeters tall. Okay, let me run my program. So what's your name? I'll say John. Age, well, he's 35. Height, let's say he's 180.5. And we got an error. It says can only concatenate string to string. Well, that's because we didn't convert our age and height variable to a string. So to do that, I'm going to use the str function. So str, and I'm going to do the same thing for height, str. And let me run my program. Hopefully there's no error this time. So John, age is 35, height is 180.5, let's say. And look at this story. User, your name is John. John, you are 35 years old. You are 180.5 centimeters tall. Let me just space it out from here and here also. A bit from here, a bit from here, and a bit from here. Okay, rerun my program. And now it looks better. User, your name is John. John, you are 35 years old. You are 180.5 centimeters tall. Alright, that is it for getting user input in Python. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. This is TechSent, and see you in the next one.